everyone, it's Sarah, and today we are in the kitchen with our friends at Shun Cutlery, and I'm going to show you how to make the only holiday appetizer that you need this season. It's a pomegranate, persimmon, and Brie Crostini, so let me show you how to make it. So there are a few foods that we need to just get ready before we start the recipe. The first is a pomegranate. Around this time of year, I cannot get enough pomegranate, and I personally do not like to buy it when the arils are already removed because I feel like they taste like whatever preservative they coat those in to make them stay fresh. So I just like to buy whole pomegranates and break them down myself. It's really not as tricky as it looks, so I'm gonna show you how I break it down. So I'm gonna go in with my Shun 3.5-inch paring knife and just make a few cut marks around the top. And then I just sort of gently peel off this little cap. Ooh, this is a nice looking palm we got here. You'll see it has these little like veins kind of running through, and I just use the same paring knife to sort of go in and make little cuts around the sides just so I can peel it back. It doesn't have to be like super exact, but I try to line it up with those little veins. I even wore a white shirt for this shoot because I'm that confident in how clean this method is. Okay, so now I'm gonna transfer this to a bowl of cold water. Okay. So in goes our pomegranate, and then I'm just gonna gently kind of break away from the cuts I made. Look how pretty that looks. Okay, this is the fun part. I actually find this like extremely soothing, but basically I just kind of like wiggle the arils loose, and it all happens underwater so that you're not like spritzing the like bright red juice on your clean white shirt. Please don't do that, Sarah, for the love of God. And as you start to wiggle them loose, this little like white film that's in a pomegranate, that'll come loose too, and it just floats to the top and the seeds go to the bottom. Some people might look at this method and be like, oh my God, you have to get out a bowl and you have to fill it with water and you have to do all these things. But honestly, I think the extra step is worth it because you get pretty much like 100% yield with your arils and you avoid a mess. So you know what? Put on your Mariah Carey music and just go to town on some pomegranates because I think the extra effort is worth it, all right? And now I'm just gonna use a fine mesh strainer and just kind of scoop out all of these little wispies. I don't know what you call these. The pith. Okay, and now we will strain the seeds. Now I'm going to slice our baguette with a Shun Classic bread knife. The key with slicing bread is you obviously want to use a serrated blade because the little teeth kind of help to grab onto what you're cutting, so it's good for bread. And we're gonna cut on a bias because it looks nice and it makes you look fancy. About yay thick. Okay, now I'm gonna cut the cheese. All right, I'm going to slice the brie now. I'm gonna use my 7-inch Shun Santoku blade. The reason I'm using this blade is because it has these little divots along, and that is like ideal for cutting something like cheese because that prevents the food from sticking to it while you're cutting. Basically, I wanna cut the brie to be the size of the baguette slices. See, look at that. Look how easy that was. And then I'm just gonna do some slices along here. Ready? I love a Santoku blade. Santa, if you're out there, this is my favorite blade. And now I'm going to slice up this persimmon with my Shun 6-inch chef's knife. Ta-da! If you can't find persimmons at the store, you could totally substitute this with apples or pears or whatever you're feeling. I'm just gonna slice them in half for our little baguettes. So the last thing I need to do is just chiffonade some mint for garnish. So I usually just make a little pile. I'd say no more than like 5 leaves, however confident you're feeling. And then you just roll them up and slice it with your Shun 6-inch chef's knife. Like so. Just like that. Okay, now I have my little baguette slices on a sheet pan and I'm just gonna brush them with some melted butter. And then we're gonna top each slice with some brie. Now I'm gonna broil these on high until the cheese is melted and the bread is nice and golden brown and crispy. For me, it's about 5 minutes, but every broiler is different, so just keep an eye on it. Look at this. Look at these cheesy buttes. All right, now I'm gonna transfer them to our serving platter and we'll finish them off. All right, we're gonna top each of these guys off with our persimmon slices. Wait, she cut the perfect amount. Oh my God, Merry Christmas. And now we're gonna give them some pretty little pomegranate seeds. A fun thing about this appetizer is that it's also a tongue twister, and you can ask your guests to say, pomegranate, persimmon, and Brie Crostini's 5 times fast. What a fun party game. I know how to have a good time. And now we're doing mint. So fresh, so clean. Mint. And now I'm gonna drizzle some hot honey on these for the ultimate sweet and spicy kick. You can use regular honey if you don't have hot honey, or you could throw some chili flakes in your regular honey and just steep it for a second. I'm just gonna finish it off with some flaky salt and black pepper. How cute. All right, we are now joined by Alex, who is an account manager here, but also her claim to fame is that she ate about 1,000 of these at the party that we served them at last week.
I could not stop.
So we're gonna have her sample these with me, even though she knows very well what they taste like.
I already know these are delicious.
Okay.
So don't mind if I do.
Cheers. Happy holidays.
Oh my gosh, that hot honey. I have to say, I never had a persimmon until I worked at Feedfeed, and now they're one of my favorite fruits.
So much so that one time she was on the phone with Delta Airlines and they asked her what her flight number was, and she was telling them, and she was like, P as in persimmon, and the guy on the other end of the phone was like, okay,
This
cool.
Is a true story.
True story. All right, Alex, can the people at home win a knife now?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
Love that energy.
Make sure to show us your knife skills on Instagram. Tag at the Feedfeed, at Shun Cutlery, and use the hashtags below for your chance to win.
Woo! Happy holidays. See you next year in 2020.